became homeless when my doctor ordered me not to work any longer. And I used to always hear on the television that one paycheck away from being homeless. I never took that seriously. Because I worked all my life. And then when that happened, the rug was like pulled out from under us. And at the same time, I just got custody of my 3 children. So not only was I homeless, but so were they. It was a rude awakening. It was a rude awakening. I found out about the STAR program through the Lawrence Street shelter. I went in and inquired because I knew that they dealt with homelessness, but I wasn't quite sure how they dealt with families. Somebody suggested that I go up and apply, and I got accepted.
One of the wonderful things about our program here is that the participants that we serve also live here, and so that just means that we get to engage with them at the place where they live, and that's honestly a really cool thing.
I developed a little personal, special relationship with the front desk. Caleb is the first one that I talked to about coming into the program, and he followed it all the way through and ended up being my case manager. And I've always felt comfortable with talking with him. And then Sarah, she'll see me and Marcus and she'll stop. Marcus will have a bad day and she'll know it, but Marcus will walk in and she'll let him in her office. That's never happened anywhere. You know, how you doing today? And good morning and inspiration. And, them 2 people, yeah, very special.
I was working at the front desk and Roman came up so excited to give me Marcus's school pictures. I still have Marcus's pictures up on my bulletin board today just to remember them and to pray for them.
As a case manager, I'm one of the main supports that participants have while they're here at the crossing. And so I'm their sort of go-to person if they need help with anything financial, anything related to their job, anything going on in their personal life that they need support for. And I'm also there to connect them to resources that they might not have access to here.
Marcus is involved with about 4 different therapies. And Joe, the leader of the youth program, would actually let Marcus and his therapist in the room to take care of what he was doing, be it physical therapy or what, and Marcus and them could use any of the equipment. And it just let me know that I can depend on that and feel secure about doing that. Because I don't feel secure about Marcus going many places. Joe and his staff is very caring. And he knows them. They take the time to get to know each individual child. They just show them love. And that made me feel wonderful, because I could depend on that. And being homeless, sometimes you can't depend on a lot. You know? You cannot depend on a lot. The kids program, it wasn't only for the kids, it was for us. It was for the parents as well, because it gave me an opportunity to go into the computer room and look for housing.
The great thing about Roman finding housing was that it had been from a program that he had applied for a couple of years ago. So he had been on their waiting list for a couple of years, and the STAR program was able to step in and give them housing while they were waiting for that. It's really difficult to explain all of the different ways that the pandemic has affected our participants. It's affected their ability to gain and maintain employment, to participate in community, which is really important, and it's even affected their long-term health if they've actually caught COVID. We're also seeing that there's a lot of people who currently aren't being evicted because of the moratorium on evictions, and so that's a problem that's being delayed, but that isn't actually going away. So there's a lot of people that are currently living in places that they actually can't afford. And one day that problem is going to result in places like the crossing being really necessary.
But the first time I walked in the place, I was just in awe. I was like, oh my goodness. And I also knew that my children are going to be the same way about it. And say it's theirs. And it was just, first of all, it was unreal. Not looking at the place, because that's just a gimme if you look at it. If you look at it, you're able to get it. But when I got the keys and turned the key and opened it and shut the door, I was in tears.